I said, all I'm asking the universe for is 5 good years. I'm not afraid of death at all. What I'm afraid of is getting to a point in my life where I can no longer take care of myself, where I can't go to the bathroom by myself, where I can't wash myself, where I can't. And so I told my family on the Zoom, I said, I'm just asking for 5 good years. And of course, they're like, well, why you just want 5? Why don't you get 10? Go for 15, I told my doctor, I said, Doc, all I need you to do is help me get 5 more good years. Because come on, I'm 63. Y'all can Google up the average lifespan of a black guy with diabetes on blood pressure medication in North Carolina, the South. Google it up.
So as you know, I've been doing this podcast, Microdose U, for about 4 years now. And in those 4 years, I've taught a lot. How to live your best life ever, how to get rid of depression and anxiety, and so much more. But I've got to tell you, in the 4 years, I don't think I've ever done an episode that's been so inspirational as the one I'm going to go ahead and give you today. On his 63rd birthday, Mark Jackson from Pembroke, North Carolina, packed up everything he owned into one suitcase and a little backpack and flew from the Raleigh-Durham airport to the Philippines, where he plans to live out the rest of his life. You see, he was struggling with depression and just general dissatisfaction with his life in the United States, and he knew there had to be something better for him. Mark has never microdosed a magic mushroom in his life, but as he's going to tell you in this episode, his mushroom is actually the Philippines. Let's listen in and hear what Mark has to say. So Mark, welcome to Microdose U. My first question to you is, what in the heck did you just do?
Well, Dr. Dave, I just up and moved to the Philippines, man. Just moved to the Philippines.
Take us back to the moment that you actually made this decision. It seems to me like you just bought a ticket, got a passport, uh, you packed a suitcase, you got a backpack, a couple things, and you just went over to the Philippines around your 63rd birthday. So why did you do this? What were you tell us what you're really searching for? And while you're answering that, did you already feel unhappy in the US, or was it more that you just knew there had to be something more out there for you?
So, Dr. Dave, the answer is yes, 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 and yes to every single one of them. But if I had to choose one, it would be happiness. I look back over my life, and I there was things that I would go for. I had different goals and different things in business and life and so forth. And I look back and I was like, what a waste of time, I was like, it's got to be more out there. And I got to the point as I got closer to retirement, I realized I got to do something because I always felt like I've got too much talent, and I always felt like I never really lived up to my potential. Yes, I became a nurse. I went to nursing school. Hardest thing I ever did in my life, because I was never an A student in high school. I was borderline CD, okay? I mean, seriously, borderline CD. So still don't know how I passed nursing school. But the thing is, there's a saying. Let me just share this. There's a saying that when we're born, we look like our parents. When we die, we look like our decisions. And I've got 2 sons. I've got 2 kids, 2 boys. They're grown now, and lots of nieces, that whatever. And I want them to be able to look at me and say, you know what? He did it. He did something special. He did something that nobody else in the Jackson family ever did. I don't see, I hate to jump around, Dr. Dave, but that's the way my mind works. About an hour ago, I got a message from a friend in Las Vegas, and I know I hadn't heard from him in a while. And he was saying, Mark, I'm so sorry I hadn't really got back up with you, brother. Congratulations on moving to the Philippines. He said, but my son, who was studying to be a doctor, committed suicide in February. And he said there was absolutely no sign from the outside looking in that he was suffering from depression. And I was like, first of all, I gave my condolences, right? Because his funeral is going to be tomorrow. But second of all, I was thinking that, especially coming from a nursing background, how many people do we know that are suffering from stuff, we had no clue. We absolutely had no clue. And including me, I suffer from depression. It runs in my mom's side of the family. And so as I look back over my life, man, I did some pretty cool things in my life and everything. But on March the 8th, I turned 63 years old. Hopefully I don't look it, okay? But I turned 63 years old. But I made a decision back right after the pandemic. That was when I found out I was a diabetic, a bad diabetic, right? In 2020. And I made the decision right then. I need to do something because I walked away from nursing in 2019. So I'd already left nursing and I became a caregiver for my dad, right? And that's takes a toll on the caregiver when you care for somebody else. People forget about us, right? And so I just had so much going on. The environment that I was in, I love my family. All right, in case they happen to see clips of this, I love you guys. Okay, I love you guys, but it wasn't an environment that I wanted to be in for the next 2, 3, 4 years, and I was stuck in that environment for 6 years or going on 6 years, and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to take my last breath. I got to do something. I want my kids to say, Daddy did something special. And here I am in the Philippines. And honestly, we were talking about mushrooms earlier. The Philippines is my mushrooms, man. The Philippines is my mushrooms. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't do mushrooms. But the Philippines is my mushrooms. And the first time I was in the Philippines was in 2011. And that feeling that I got, that first 48 hours, the first 48, as that show goes, right? The first 48 hours, I was like, this is it.
How bad were things, though? You talked about like the last 6 years or so. You said you were going through some depression. How bad did things get that you said I'm going to be out of here? I don't really want to live the rest of my life in the United States.
You say how bad did it get? Well, my environment. To me, everything is about environment, and my environment was my dad, who is right now is 88 years old, and he's had a stroke, he's got some dementia, he's diabetic, insulin dependent, total care. I give him his bath, I take him to the barbershop, all that stuff, right? And then his wife, who also has her health problems, and then me, who became a severe diabetic in 2020, not to mention all the lockdown stuff that happened. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, I got to get the heck out of here. So I I don't say immediately, by 2021, I started formulating an exit plan in my mind. I didn't tell them, I didn't tell anybody because I was going through a divorce also at that time. So I was going through a divorce, plus all that, plus the pandemic, plus my diabetes. I said, I'm not going to live very long, Dr. Dave, unless I get the heck out of here. And so I started formulating an exit plan quietly. As I continued to do what I did, I already knew I'm out of here at a certain time. And I got sicker. My health got worse. I actually had to end up getting a job, which I hadn't had in a while. And I fainted. I passed out or almost passed out twice while I was working that job. And that was my neuropathy. My severe autonomic neuropathy it wasn't just in my feet and my legs. It was taking over my body, my groin, my knees, my back, my lungs. I mean, it was my fingertips, my elbows. I'm like, I'm going to die soon if I don't get the heck out, if I don't figure something out. And I said, where do I need to be? and it was the Philippines. So I started formulating my exit plan.
Why did you think your life in the Philippines would be better than the U.S.? What are you expecting to happen there that's so much different?
Well, it wasn't that I was expecting for it to happen, Dave. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. At that time, the person that I was involved with, okay, uh, we would walk. I got a little hut, a little neighbor hut thing, and we kind of spent time together. And it was right on the ocean, right off the ocean, I should say. And there was a little stray dog, which they're all over the Philippines. There was this little cute stray dog, and I'm an animal lover, and especially dogs. And he just, dogs are like babies. They know when you love them. And he adopted me. And every morning, me and that person and the dog, we would go out to the ocean, sit on the ground, on the sand, and I looked over the ocean. Dr. Dave, I looked over that ocean. And this is what I tell people. And they won't get it till they've been there. My family doesn't get it because they haven't been there. But as I looked over that ocean, here's what I did not care about anymore. I did not care about CNN, ABC, CBS, Fox, BBC, ESPN, NBA, MLB. Whatever letters you want to put on it. I did not care about any of that. I was at peace. I smiled. People in the Philippines, I fell in love with the people, the country, the culture. And they would look at you and the Filipino cultures, they raise their eyebrows. That's how they say hi. They go like that. They even had me doing, I go, like that. And it just felt so good to be around happiness. Now, at that time, I didn't know that I was going to move to the Philippines, though. That was in 2011. But I never forgot the feeling. And that's one thing, even in relationships, right? It's not so much how good you look, it's how good you made me feel. And I'm no relationship expert, trust me. I've had 3 marriages, okay? Then again, that might make me a relationship expert. I don't know. Because I definitely know what not to do, right? But yeah, it was the feeling. And that feeling I never forgot. So I knew when my health was, I went from 188 pounds down to 137 pounds. I felt like I was dying. I would tell some of my friends, not my family, I got a couple of best friends. I say, dude, I feel like I'm dying. And tears would start coming out of my eyes because I got so much energy. I got so much more life to do. And I started making my exit plan.
So I think by my calculation, you've been there now for about 3 days or so, some give or take, something like that. Tell us what your life is like so far. How do you feel? Do you feel like you made the right decision? Do you feel like your health is even getting a little bit better even after 48 hours?
Dave, let me tell you something. The answer is yes. I was laying in the bed here. I'm in my hotel room right now. And I was lying in the bed and it hit me about 3:30 this morning because I didn't want to miss this. And so, but it hit me. I have been 24 hours with 0 neuropathy pain. Now, yeah, now I still take my medication. I haven't stopped taking that, but I would get in Wales in North Carolina, I would get the neuropathy pain bad even on the medication. I did not have any neuropathy pain, and it usually hits me at night. It did not hit me at night. I did some vlogging when I was eating my noodles. I did a vlogging last night. I was eating new noodles and showing the little street I was on. I had no neuropathy pain. And I didn't realize it till few hours ago. And that, in my opinion, is because of this newfound happiness, this newfound smiling all the time, this newfound culture of people just laid back, not worried about anything, just chill people. and vlogging and walking through the mall and just seeing all these beautiful, and look, don't get me started on the beautiful women. I'll just leave that off the, but I mean, that always helps, right? Eye candy always helps. But I didn't have any neuropathy pain, man. And so many people are watching my vlogs and watching my videos. My numbers are going through the roof. And I think one is naturally curiosity, I know. But the other thing is, I really believe people wish they could do what I just did. And I'm just a dude from North Carolina. There ain't nothing special about me. I'm not rich. I didn't come over here with a ton of money and all that stuff. I'm budgeting also, right? I don't want to be homeless in the Philippines, right? I'm budgeting. But the thing is, I know that this is what makes me happy. This is what I've been scheming on for the past 5 years, and I'm not going to blow it. Because once you got happiness, I love impact, just like you, impacting people's lives, helping them see other alternatives besides the one that my friend's son took. To realize that there is a mushroom out there for you, even if it is or not is mushrooms, right? There is. Philippines is my mushroom. I just want to inspire people. I came up with an original saying years ago. And that saying is, if your tombstone is the only mark you leave in this world, you failed.
What's your type of a legacy do you want to leave?
The legacy that I want to leave is mostly for my kids, my two boys, okay? And anybody, my nephews, my nieces, anybody, and all of them are watching my story, right? Because they still can't believe what I did. But the legacy I want to leave for my family, the younger ones especially, and for all the people in my network, and there's a lot of people in my network, okay, that are watching me from different ventures. The legacy that I want to leave is that no matter what your ups and downs are in life, no matter how difficult things got, whatever that thing is, like I go back to the mushroom thing, whatever, once you figure out what your mushroom is, you can do it. You can do it. It takes a little bit of planning. You don't want to be stupid. You don't want to act crazy. You need the plan. But here's the thing, you don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to get it perfect. Mark didn't get it perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, but I did it anyway. And now I'm happy. That's what I want to leave, is to inspire people that you can do it. Number one, it doesn't have to be perfect. Find out what your mushroom is and go for it. That's it. That's it. They always talk about the dash between the day you were born and the day you died. All I want people to see is them last few years of my dash. I don't care about the first. That last few years of that dash was a hell of a ride.
Okay, so I've got a question for you, Marky Mark. I know, and it's maybe not fair because you've only been there 2 or 3 days so far, but what does your day look like now in the Philippines compared to your typical day back in Pembroke, North Carolina?
Woo, bruh. I'm gonna tell you something. The average time that I got out of bed because of the pain and discomfort and the cold weather kills me. My average get up out of bed function time in Pembroke, North Carolina was between 11 and 2, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. I had no inspiration. I had no motivation. I was aching. I was hurting. I was depressed. Didn't want to get out of bed. Those last, let's just say, 2 months that I was there, February and January, when the weather really got cold in North Carolina, I averaged getting out of bed after 12 lunchtime. I couldn't move. I was in so much discomfort. And like you said, I've only been here a few days, but this warm climate, this just the excitement of being alive again. You know, I mean, honestly, I've been awake for the past couple of hours because I took a really good nap and everything. I mean, it's just totally different for me. The noise and the roosters and the trikes going by and all doesn't even bother me because I'm in my happy place now, man. I told my family before I left, I said, they said, well, why are you doing this? I said, because I want to live and I want to live longer. I said, I'm just asking. Matter of fact, I'll tell you something interesting. About a week before I left, I did a family Zoom. I invited everybody in my immediate family and some cousins and stuff to get on Zoom so there won't be any speculation, any rumors. I think they call that in the Philippines chismis, which is rumors, right? Gossiping, okay. And of why Uncle Mark or Brother Mark or whatever or whatever I am to them, or now Marky Mark, right? Okay. Won't be any rumors of why I left and what my intentions are. And I told them this. I said, well, I told them many things, but this was one of them. I said, all I'm asking the universe for is 5 good years. I'm not afraid of death at all. What I'm afraid of is getting to a point in my life where I can no longer take care of myself, where I can't go to the bathroom by myself, where I can't wash myself, where I can't, because I was a nurse in a nursing home also. I've seen it. I've seen people 13 to 15 years bedbound. And at 33 years old or 30 years old, when I graduated from nursing school, and I was taking care of those patients, I made up in my mind right then, that won't be me. That won't be me. And so I told my family on the Zoom, I said, I'm just asking for 5 good years. And of course, you know, they're like, well, why you just want 5? Why don't you get 10? Go for 15, you know? I told my doctor, I said, Doc, all I need you to do is help me get 5 more good years. Because come on, I'm 63. Y'all can Google up the average lifespan of a black guy with diabetes on blood pressure medication in North Carolina, the South. Google it up, right? I just want 5 good years. If I lived like my dad to 88, so be it. But I want 5 good years. After that, that's bonus time. And I honestly believe in my heart that if I had stayed in North Carolina, I wouldn't make it 5 more years. I wouldn't make it.
Mark, I've got a question. People are listening and watching, and I know I've been there. It's so easy to say, yeah, he's doing that. Good for him. But, and the but it's not going to work for me. But I can't make a change. But I can't do this because of this, because of this. What do you say? And I was in that situation myself at some point. It's very hard to make a change, especially a major change. A lot of people are afraid of what's on the other side, and they're afraid to take a risk, and they think the risk might be worse than what they're going through now, like a terrible life, a very difficult life. What do you have to say to the people that might be saying that? Like, I know it's a great story, but I can't do that. What do you, and again, speak to this. It does not. Their magic mushroom does not have to be the Philippines. It could be anything. It could be.
Anything.
It
Yeah.
could be. Maybe their job is horrible. Maybe they're in a relationship that's bad. Their magic mushroom might be to leave a toxic relationship. Whatever it might be. What do you have to say to the people that are just saying, But I can't do that right now. I can't do it.
Two things. One is you got to understand that everything that you're dreaming about, everything that you want is on the other side of fear. That's the sad truth. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. What is it that you fear most? Like I told you about those folks in the nursing home that I used to take care of. They've been in bedbound for 15 years, getting decubitus ulcers on their buttocks, right? In a decubitus ulcer is a sore that can go down to the bone, right? Where your muscles deteriorate. What is it you fear most? Where you are till you die, or where you really want to be? Where you are till you die, or where you really want to be? The second thing is to be inspired by the people that have already done it. Be inspired. I promise you, me, Dave, we all had doubts. What I did was I watched probably over 1,000 videos on YouTube of people that, first of all, look like me, right? Dark black guy, right? Black, whatever, that went to their other side of fear. And I saw their smiles and how they got out of the matrix of the United States or of Europe or wherever, right? And I had some envy. I had some jealousy, just like you might have some envy and some jealousy. Yeah, but like you said, but let that envy and that jealousy drive you to get through that other side of fear. I'm not a big sci-fi person. I don't like sci-fi. I don't like Star Wars and all that stuff, the Matrix and all that stuff. But I do remember seeing on some show, movie, like there's like this waviness, this force field, right? This force field. I want you to pretend that there's the force field. I'm gonna move over a little bit. This pen is the force field right here. This is the force field. This is where I am, miserable, hating my life, not happy, depressed, but this is that force field, and everything I want is over here. And I got to take my hand and push it through that force field and try to get sucked in to where you want to be. It took me over 1,000 videos before I said, I can do that too. You got to go through that force field, man. Most people will die being afraid to go to that other side. They'll take it to their grave. Only about 0.5% to 1%, 0.5 to 1% of the people will say, darn it, I'm going to the other side. I'm going to the other side. And in 2020, I made that decision. I'm going to the other side. I may be in hotels for the next 30 days. I don't know. I may be sleeping on the beach with another dog that adopted me. I don't know where I'm going to be. All I knew is I wanted to get to the other side and just enjoy the journey, man.
So I've got to ask you this also. What part of your move was related to trying to find love in the Philippines?
Yeah, well, yes, I'm looking for love, but I don't want to say that as if you guys might be thinking, oh, well, that's why he really went to the Philippines. No, that's not why. Look, that's not why I really came to the Philippines. All right. I knew I had a great chance because let's be honest, you know how old I am. Let's pretend that we're single. Okay, we're going to take a second to play pretend here. And we're walking through Target, and we're walking through Target, doing some shopping, pushing the buggy. Let's be honest. I don't care if I'm black, you're white, but we're invisible. We're invisible. No, seriously. I mean, to women, and I can even take it back to 50 years old. If you're 45 years old and you're an average looking black guy or average looking white guy and you're single, probably, and look, I'm to the point now, I'm in the Philippines. I really don't care. I love people, but I'm not in the States anymore. I don't care if I offend people. I'm going to say what's on my mind. At your age, Dave, or at my age, walking through Target, walking through Walmart, going to the DMV to get our driver's license renewed, we're invisible. But not in the Philippines, baby. You are no siree. No siree. I was at the mall the other day, Dave. I think that young lady thought I was her favorite chocolate bar, the way she looked at me. Bruh, it's a whole new game over here. I'm just going to leave it at that.
So, Mark, if someone listening right now or watching, hopefully they're watching, they got to see you. If they wake up every day with depression, anxiety, they feel stuck, they feel like their life is not working for them, what is you said it took you 5 or 6 years, you came up with this decision and it took you 6 years later. My question is, what's the first small step they could take towards a better life?
That is an easy one. Everything, and I don't want to do a business training here, but everything starts with a decision. Everything starts with the decision. That's the answer. The problem is people take that long to make something that takes like that. A decision is that. But people take that long to make that. It starts with a decision. See, once I made that decision in 2020 that I'm getting out of the matrix, that I'm going to the Philippines, not to chase love, but to chase life. Once I made that decision, and guys, I don't take a long time to make a decision. The average person, especially in America, takes forever to make a decision. If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, it talks about how wealthy people, they do their research, but they make their decision like that, and they're very slow to change their decision. Poor people, people that are all over the place, they take forever to make a decision, and then they change their mind the first person that tells them it won't work. That's the difference between success, and I don't just mean monetary success. I mean, kind of like what I did. That is a success. That's the difference between that 0.5 people that get to the other side and that 99.5 that stay there where they are. Is that 99.5, they never really made the decision. They thought it would be nice. They're the ones that say things like, oh, it must be nice. They say all that loser stuff. It must be nice. No, make the decision, man. And even those of you that are in bad relationships, you ain't got to tell everybody. But say, matter of fact, I don't know, this has nothing to do with magic mushroom or whatever, mushroom dose or whatever, but I'm wearing a bracelet here. And it says, break the silence in domestic violence. And I'm a guy wearing this bracelet. So you ladies, and I know there's some men that are abused too, but I'm just talking to you ladies. If there's any ladies watching this and that's you, you ain't got to tell everybody. Don't dare tell him. Okay? But the reason why you haven't gone to that other side and gotten out is because you haven't really made that decision yet. Once you make the decision, I promise you, on my 2 boys' grave or life, once you make that decision, you'll figure out a way to get it done.
Okay, quick commercial break. I promise only for a second, but I've created a community on Patreon that we can go really deep. We can be together in a non-judgmental way. It's just such a great group of people. And if you find yourself walking this path alone, if you feel you need some help, some camaraderie, just some people to connect with and bond with, whether you want to talk about microdosing or not, anything goes. It's totally fine. Check out the show notes for my Patreon community. The people there are just getting so much value out of it every single day. And we do live live meetings. We have a WhatsApp companion chat going all the time. It's just a great family. These are some of the most lovable people you'll ever want to be able to hang with, and a lot of great information inside of Patreon. So check the show notes, check my website, microdoseu.com, and you'll definitely find your way to Patreon, and I can't wait to hang with you there. Okay, back to the show. Marky Mark, just congratulations on an incredible decision that you made. Incredible. And I hope you said 5 years. I hope you have 55 more years, but you know what I mean. I hope you have many, many, many years of happiness in the Philippines. I'll give you the final word. Tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel, and then I think you've got something you want to close with.
Well, the YouTube channel, I don't know if you all can see it right below my video there, but it's Marky Mark Philippines Life. That's it. Marky Mark Philippines Life. So I'm on YouTube there. I'm new to YouTube. I'm just starting to grow it. It started 4 months ago. As far as this, once I made the decision, I said I'm going to put it out there to the world so that you all can follow my journey. I walk around the house a lot. I call it my track, and that's where I talk to you guys a lot, from walking around my house, the backyard and front yard in Pembroke, North Carolina, a little old town called Pembroke. And I tell you what my decision was, which is I'm moving to the Philippines. And so you can see, I remember when I was, 133 days away. And people kept watching, like, is he really going to do it? Is he really going to do it? Is he really going to do it? He did it, right? I have an original quote that I came up with several years ago. And that quote is this: your journey is your journey. Respect it, embrace it, finish it. Now, I came up with that quote when I was doing business, but it also applies to life. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to Dr. Dave. Your journey is your journey, but you got to respect the fact that that's your journey, even though it looks way different than other people's sometimes. Because remember, once your decision is made, it's going to happen once you make the decision. Your journey is your journey. Respect it. And then the second part is you got to embrace it as yours. While I was walking around that house, talking to people all the months, I'm going to the Philippines, I'm going to the Philippines. I was embracing it. There was a method to the madness. I was embracing it. Every night I visualized what it's going to feel like to be in this hotel room. Okay. But then you got to finish it. You know, one of my episodes on Marky Mark's Philippines Life, you might remember it, Dr. Dave. I bought the ticket, right? One of the, because I knew I had to finish it. What do I look like talking about Philippines and I didn't even buy the darn ticket? I bought the ticket. One way, non-refundable, no insurance on it. So if I got sick or somebody talked me out of it, no. I had to finish it. And here I am.
Marky Mark, thank you so much for taking your time to come on the show. We're going to have you back. Let's give it a little bit of time. Settle into the Philippines. We'll have you back to report on your progress. And I'm sure, I am absolutely positive you're going to be doing fantastic there. If you are brand new to this show, make sure you like, subscribe, and enable your notifications so next time we get Marky Mark back on, you won't miss a thing. And I've got some really good episodes coming up in between now and then as well. Check the show notes. Check my website, microdoseu.com, for some really cool resources to help you in between shows. And I want you to please remember, you are valuable. You matter. You matter a lot to me. See you next time.